Well, I had some fun this morning. Now I'll get a little serious. Um, I was talking with someone recently, and some points were raised that are worth considering, worth looking at. You know, when you say the word cult, what do you think of? Religion, Jonestown, Jim Jones, David Koresh. There have been many others. And if you've ever seen their cult members at times when they have been interviewed, you see that there's something a little wrong with these people. They're a little mentally disturbed, like they're brainwashed. They're not acting on their own, they're acting on behalf of someone else who is their cult leader. And these people will do anything their cult leader asks of them and will do anything to defend them. I mean, look at David Koresh. He got men to turn their wives over to have sex with Koresh willingly, their teenage daughters. He'd send the women in his cult out into the street to panhandle, steal, and even prostitute themselves to bring money and goods back to him. They would do anything for him. Jonestown, Jim Jones got them to drink the Kool-Aid. And there are many other cases I can cite. You can look it up. All this information is available. We have them today. I remember hearing about this QAnon, and I saw them talking to one of their leaders, and these people are super extremist Nazis, as far as I'm concerned. Nazis, fascists. They want to overthrow the government, regardless of who's in power. They don't care about Democrats or Republicans. They want to overthrow all of it. I view MAGA as having the same cult mentality. Look at what happened on January 6th. They could not accept the fact he lost, which he did. And I hear the things they say. When Hillary lost, I didn't see Democrats, trying to stop the vote count. I'm old enough to remember when Al Gore ran for president against Bush, and it came down to the state of Florida. And Jeb Bush at the time was governor of Florida, Bush's brother. And there were some issues with the votes in that state of Florida. There were some major issues. And I remember Jeb Bush openly declaring, I will make sure my brother wins Florida. He openly said this to the public. He will make sure his brother wins Florida and wins the presidency. I'm going to use a word I haven't used in a long time, shenanigans. A lot of shenanigans went on in Florida. A lot of shenanigans. Votes in counties now suddenly went missing, and these were counties where they were Democratic counties. They knew that they were going to get more Democratic votes in those counties than Republican votes, based on previous polling and based on just knowing who the registered voters were in those counties. They were like 30% Democrat versus Republican. So you know who was going to win those counties. These votes suddenly got lost and disappeared. We're talking tens and tens and tens of thousands of votes. Not those 1,400 and something that Trump was trying to get, Georgia to find for him. Believe me, a lot of shenanigans went on in that election. And everyone knew it was rigged. And Gore was going to start to try to fight it. And then he took the high road. He said, you know what, I'm not going to throw the country into turmoil and chaos for 4 years while I try to fight to prove that I was robbed of this election, which he was, legitimately robbed of an election. And he decided to put the country ahead of himself and congratulate George Bush on his win. And things went on. Unlike these last 4 years of this president, believe me, I'm no big fan of Biden. I am no big fan of Biden at all. You know, I would have preferred Democrats had a better choice. I would have preferred Republicans had a better choice. I feel that both sides should and could do better than what they've been offering up to the public. I find this country really should not be run by very old white men, and that's what we had on both sides. Very old white men that in many ways I think they're out of touch with what's going on in the country, with the real heartbeat of the middle class that are a lot younger, dealing with modern problems that I think they may be a little out of touch with. Those that are very, very wealthy, now they're even more out of touch with the working man, the working woman. They don't know what it's like to struggle to pay their bills. They never had to worry about that. Just my opinion, for what it's worth. As you see, I'm not taking sides. I'm just telling it the way it is, the way it happened, the way things are happening. And I've seen how cults that once only existed in the world of religion, they're existing in the world of politics. You know, I view MAGA as a cult based on their behavior. They will deny facts, deny truth for the sake of defending what they view as their leader. You know, I don't see that going on the left. Yes, we have our extremists. There are some of them that, you know, here in Massachusetts, like I say, I'm an independent. I have no allegiance to the party, you know. There's some Democrats that here tout Elizabeth Warren, and she's here in my state. Personally, I can't stand her. Something about her. She's too whiny. Like, I can't listen to her talk more than 5 minutes. Her voice irritates me. I'm telling you the truth. Her voice irritates me. I can't stand listening to her. Bernie Sanders, although he may have, you know, great ideas, and he's an independent, I find him, personally, to be too old. I found him to be a little too pointing and yelling, and you have to listen. Somebody comes at me pointing their finger and yelling, turns me right off. I don't want to listen to them. No matter what they're saying, I don't want to listen to them. I think both sides could and should do better, you know. But this is what we have. But I'm seeing this QAnon, and it's something you don't hear talk. Well, now we have the Proud Boys, and all this are all little offshoots, little fingers of MAGA that splintered. And they're all violent groups. They're all violent groups. You know, they're not peaceful movements. They are not peaceful movements. They are violent groups. We've seen what's happening. We've seen their behavior. You know, we've seen the people that, you know, walking through neighborhoods with tiki torches, the way the Ku Klux Klan did at one time. White supremacy groups have popped up. We have a lot of cults in this country, and they're no longer based in Christianity, Judaism, or Islam. They're based on political factions, far-right extremist political factions. Sorry if you can't deal with it. This is the reality of things. Haven't you been seeing what's going on? And when I have on occasion caught some of these members and their leaders on TV talking, it didn't click, and somebody said, does this Mike guy remind you of somebody? The way they're full of hate and they just want to attack, and they're full of hatred. And they're just driven. They're on a mission of hate. They're out to try to conquer something, destroy something. What they want to destroy is the government. Set up their own form of government they feel how it should be run. And so, you know, after listening to this Mike guy over at the World Pause or Everything, it wouldn't surprise me if he's one of these that, I don't know if they have an official membership, you know, you get dues and you get to wear a hat or a badge or something, but someone that's a QAnon follower, agrees with them, and behaves like them, the behavior, you know. A lot of people that, you know, I'm not religious, but a lot of people that don't go to church will still believe in their Jesus. A lot of people, QAnon, even some, MAGA, they support MAGA. They feel they're proud to be MAGA. They'll go and buy a hat, order one online, but they're not attending Trump rallies. You know what I mean? But they'll still consider themselves a MAGA when they support their leader. Same how it is in religion with Christianity, Judaism. You get the ones that are fully active and involved and the ones that are on the fringe. When push comes to shove, now they'll get a little more involved. Now they'll get a little more vocal. When they feel that their leader is being threatened. When they feel their leader may be in some danger. And now they need to, how is it they say, put their wagons in a circle to protect their leader in the middle. Then they become more violent. They will do whatever is necessary to protect their leader. And somebody pointed that out to me. They said, you know, that Mike guy, the more I watched him, he's not right in the head. He's not right in the head. I said, tell me something I don't know. That's fairly obvious. This guy is not stable emotionally. I mean, you know, I've seen people that hate things. I'm not a hater. I've seen people that hate things. And they are not even that batshit crazy as him. And now, once he gets rolling on hate, he has a hard time stopping. Now it's been, what, a couple of days now, and he's still doing the same shit. Still attacking. Like, what's his point? What's he hoping to accomplish? That hatred, that belief with whatever movement he's involved in his head, it will take him over. It will affect his behavior. He will deviate in a path in his life that's going to take him far away from how he probably started out on here, talking about cars and whatnot and having fun. And now suddenly, what was once fun for him is now turned into just anger and rage. And this has happened because of him, all by himself. No one's done it to him. Like I said, you know, if all it took to trigger him was to talk about a mask, this is how he melted down and how he's continuing to melt down. Because in his mind, he doesn't see this as a simple mask that I see it, you see it, anyone else sees it. In his mind, with his political belief system, he's looking at Joe Biden. That's all he can see is Joe Biden. I don't see Joe Biden. I don't want to see Joe Biden. I mean, I'm not a big fan of him. I'm telling you. You know, I'm not a big fan of Joe Biden. I'm not a fan of Trump either. That should be fairly obvious. But this simple mask, to him, in his mind, where this guy pointed out, he said to me, you know, Brian, I think it would not surprise me if his head is full of QAnon. And when he saw this mask, he saw Biden. It infuriated him. And when I said that I was going to use this mask, he views me as a balls-to-the-wall Biden supporter. Therefore, now he hates me as much as he hates Biden. But he knows he won't get any. Mike, you won't get anywhere with me. Trust me, you won't get anywhere with me. You won't get anywhere with Biden either. You won't get anywhere with anyone. All you're going to do is continue to do what you're doing, if that's what you choose to keep doing, and make yourself look more and more insane as you go along. Your cars, your prized possessions that you cared so much about will mean less and less to you as time goes by. That's what happens to people in cults. They lose themselves. They lose themselves. The things that meant everything to them in their life, they lose their meaning. They're no longer that important. Now their focus is on something else that they're trying to gravitate towards. They feel will give them more enjoyment, more happiness, more fulfillment. You think you're going to find that with anger and rage? With hate? What kind of a place do you think that's going to take you to? Like I pointed out in an earlier video, you can end up in a bad place. You're going to go out full of hate and rage one day, maybe go to a bar or something. You're going to run into that one liberal you hate so much. Something real bad could happen to you. Could cause you, like I said in a previous video, see a couple of gay guys walking on the street holding a hand. Suddenly you find yourself up on the sidewalk fucking mowing them down. You end up being charged with vehicular manslaughter, murder. And if it's premeditated, you're in prison for life. Are you paying attention? Yeah. somebody pointed it out to me, and I appreciate it. I don't know everything. I don't know everything, but I know a little bit. And other people that know a little bit, when minds share thoughts, knowledge, sometimes some answers, very often, the answers are found. And I think I came to understand why Mike went off his nut when I talked about simply wearing a mask. Because in his mind, I'm leaning towards believing he's got a mind full of this QAnon, because that's their behavior. He didn't see this mask. All we saw was Joe Biden. And that's what's causing him to behave the way he is.